Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Have you ever sat in a leadership meeting where decisions were made about people, budgets, layoffs, hiring freezes, without anyone even looking at HR? You are there, but invisible. You are because chasing payroll, attendance, policies, and audits, while strategy was happening somewhere else. And then one day you realized something painful. I work in HR, but I am not rated like a business partner. If that sounds familiar, do not skip this video because in the next few minutes I am going to break down the exact simple HR framework that transformed me from just admin HR to a trusted strategic partner in just 12 months. No fancy MBA jargons, no expensive consulting models, just brutal clarity. And if you stay till the end, you will never look at your HR role the same way again. By the way, if we are missing for the first time, I am Pradeep. I have spent years of inside HR functions seeing what actually works and what keeps HR professionals stuck, frustrated, and ignored. And trust me, HR doesn't lack intelligence, HR lacks positioning. Let me take you back. I was doing everything right, policies perfect, compliance flawless, employee queries handled, payroll on time yet. When CEO spoke about growth, HR wasn't mentioned. When revenue was discussed, HR was silent. When strategy decks were prepared, HR was missing. I remember one moment clearly. A senior leader said, HR will take care of paperwork later. The sentence hit harder than any performance review. That is when I realized something brutally. Admin HR is busy, strategic HR is valuable, and no one promotes busy. Here is the comfortable truth most HR professionals avoid. HR doesn't become strategic by designation. HR becomes strategic by thinking like a business. And that when I built a three-part framework that changed everything. It is called BPI framework. No fluff, no theory, just results. The framework is part 1 B business first thinking. This was the biggest shift. I stopped asking what HR policy should we implement and started asking what business problems are we solving. Instead of engaging surveys, I spoke about productivity leaks, attrition numbers. I spoke about cost of replacement training programs. I spoke about capability gaps hurting revenue suddenly. Leaders learned in because I was speaking their language. If HR can't talk money, growth, risk, and scale, HR will never be the strategic partner. Part 2, which is P, people assets, not activities. Admin HR manager activities, strategic HR manages outcomes. I stopped saying we conducted a training. I started saying this training was reduced errors by 18%. I didn't say we hired 20 people. I said we closed three critical gaps impacting delivery. The moment HR connects people decisions to business results, HR becomes unavoidable. Small joke here. Executives don't hate HR, they hate irrelevance. Part 3I. Influence before authority. This part changed my career. Strategic HR doesn't wait for permission, it influences before decisions are made. I started joining discussions early, sharing insights, not instructions, asking smart questions instead of pushing policies. Questions like, what is the risk if we don't upskill this team? How will this decision impact retention next quarter? Do we have leaders ready if growth doubles? And guess what? HR wasn't called for decisions anymore. HR was called for decisions. That's power. I wasn't support HR anymore. I was a thought partner. Leadership started asking Pradeep, what do you think? Budget conversations included HR, growth plans included HR, risk discussions included HR. Same company, same role, new mindset. That is the real position. Let me be very clear, policies don't build respect, impact does. Admin HR maintains systems, strategic HR shapes outcomes. HR that doesn't align with business becomes invisible. If HR wants to sit at the table, it must stop begging and start contributing. If you remember just one thing from this video, remember this. Strategic HR is not a role, it is a way of thinking. You need a little title which is not correct. You need a new lens. And when you change how you think, everything else follows. If you are tired of being seen as just admin HR and want to become a real strategic partner, subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment strategic if this hit home because HR doesn't need more roles. HR needs more leaders.